Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Westminster Abbey. My name is David Hoyle. I'm the Dean of Westminster. And it's a real privilege for me to greet you in this building tonight. This is a special place, but you are very special people. You are the people who sustain hope in dark times. You are people who believe, hope, care. You are people who know that we are at our best together. And most importantly, you are people who do the good things that you do because they're good things to do, not because you expect to be paid or thanked. So from Westminster Abbey, from the Dean, from my colleagues here, a huge thank you for all that you have done for London and for us. You have come into a building tonight that has been a gathering place for a nation, for a commonwealth, for community. For over 1,000 years, there has been a church building here for more than 1,000 years. You know, I'm sure, this is the Church of Coronation. Every coronation in this country since 1066 has taken place just behind me, happens on that pavement just behind me. And we are already preparing for the moment when all eyes are going to be on Westminster in May. And once again, nation and commonwealth will find their way here, and we will see and hear a new king pledge himself to service and to duty. The Abbey is also a place that has a very long memory. In the Abbey, at the far end of the Abbey, you'll find the unknown warrior, a soldier of the Great War, whose name we do not know, who reminds us of the cost and tragedy of war and the bravery and commitment that so many people offer. And also here are scientists, Darwin, Newton, writers and poets. Charles Dickens is buried just where those people are standing over there. There are actors, politicians, kings and queens, explorers, priests, musicians, and so many more people remembered in Westminster Abbey. If, they won't, I promise, but if they were all to get out of their graves, there would be a monumental row in the Abbey. These are people who would never get on in life. But here, we stitch them into the long story. So today, I can tell you, you become part of that story in Westminster Abbey, part of our shared hope for the future. And we are proud to have you here tonight because we believe in the Abbey, I think, what a lot of you believe, and that is that the people of London don't have to be divided and suspicious and anxious, that we can be united and reconciled. So once again, thank you for all that you've done. Thank you for coming to the Abbey tonight. I hope you have a wonderful evening.
Sometimes I lay under the moon and thank God I'm breathing. Then I pray, don't take me soon. I am here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around. All my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't wanna fight no more. There'll be no more might drive you crazy, but don't let it hate you. No way, no way. All my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play. One day, one day, one day. Oh, one day, one day, one day. Oh, one day, one day, one day. Oh, one day, one day, one day. Sometimes I lay under the moon and thank God I'm breathing. Then I pray, don't take me soon. I am here for a reason. Sometimes in my tears I drown, but I never let it get me down. So when negativity surrounds, I know someday it'll all turn around. All my life I've been waiting for, I've been praying for the people to say that we don't want to fight no more. There'll be no more wars, and our children will play. One day, one day, one day. One day, one day, one day. Oh, one day, one day, one day. Oh, one day, one day, one day.
If you wanna know where I'm going soon. If anybody asks you where I'm going soon. I'm going up yonder. I'm going up yonder. I'm going up yonder to be with you. I'm going up yonder. I'm going up yonder. I'm going up yonder to be with you. Praise you. I'll praise you. Praise you. Praise you. Praise you. Take the shackles off my feet so I can dance. I just wanna praise you. I just wanna praise you. You broke the chains, now I can lift my hands. And I'm gonna praise you. I'm gonna praise you.
In the corners of my mind, I just can't seem to find reason to believe that I should break free.
'Cause you see, I have been down for so long, feel like all hope is gone. And as I lift my hands, I understand that I should praise you through my circumstance.
The shackles on my feet so I can dance. I just wanna praise you. I just wanna praise you. You broke the chains, now I can lift my hands.
much pressure fell on me. I thought I was gonna lose my mind, but I know you wanna see if I can hold on through these trials. Cause I need you to live this loud, cause I can't take this no more. To me
Amazing. Thank you so much for that. And one more time, everyone, if we could give it up for the Haringey young musicians. So good evening, everyone, and a huge welcome to the 6th London Faith and Belief Community Awards. If I can get a round of applause.
Come on, you can be louder than that.
We feel so lucky to be in this incredible space, celebrating all of you. And I feel that that last song was really fitting because actually tonight we're here to celebrate you and you are our heroes. So that was a really great song choice. We've already heard tonight how special a venue this is that we're standing in. And I'm sure that when it was originally designed, it wasn't intended to necessarily host an intercultural community awards ceremony. But here we are, and we're adding to the history of this incredible space. So just to bring us all together, because I know that we're spread out a little bit, I'd like to get, first of all, a cheer from the North Transept. And a cheer from the South Transept. And you're a little bit smaller, but a very loud cheer from the choir. Fantastic. So that performance was just such a wonderful way for us to kickstart. And I don't know if you're quite as soft as I am, but I was already shedding a little tear, and we're only just beginning the service. So my name's Carrie, and I work at the Faith and Belief Forum, and I'm really delighted to co-host tonight with Ruma.
Hi.
So the Faith and Belief Forum is an interfaith charity working proudly for over 20 years to build positive and lasting relationships between people of different faiths and beliefs. We deliver interfaith programming all across the country, in schools, universities, communities, and workplaces. And we are delighted that this is our 6th year hosting the London Faith and Belief Community Awards, with support from His Majesty's Lord Lieutenant of Greater London's Council on Faith. At FNBF, we believe that diversity of experience, culture, and faith needs to be celebrated. Diversity in society, just like the amazing diversity in this space, it makes us stronger, it makes us richer, it makes us more resilient, and it adds to our quality of life. So there's no better place to celebrate this, of course, than in London, one of the most diverse cities in the world, with over 300 languages spoken every day. Isn't that amazing? This year, like many before, faith and belief community groups have faced multiple challenges. Yet, through these challenges, you have been essential in responding to the emergency needs of our communities, getting food and resources to those who need them, advocating for the vulnerable, providing vital pastoral and spiritual care, and working together across difference. So I just want to get a bit of a temperature check of the room and see who we've got here. So I'd like it if you could raise your hand if you've volunteered at all your time in this last year. Who here's volunteered this last year? That's pretty amazing, isn't it? If you could just take a look around you, everyone keep your hands raised for just a second. That's pretty impressive. I mean, we have a lot of strong people in this room, a lot of energy, a lot of time that we've given back to our communities. At the Faith and Belief Forum, we have seen firsthand how hard faith and belief community groups and those that lead them have been working, often with little to no funding, making a vital difference to those who have been impacted by immense challenges. So to all the community groups and all the volunteers joining this evening, you deserve so much celebration. And now I'm very honoured to introduce and hand over to my co-host for this evening, Ruma Parvin.
Brilliant. Hello! Oh, come on, where's the response? Hello! Much better, much better. So if you have selective hearing like myself, I'm just going to remind you, my name is Ruma, spelled like Puma but with an R, and I don't have the habit of spreading rumors, so ignore what people say. I am honestly honored to be here with you tonight. I have been involved with Faith and Belief Forum since 2019, and I volunteer for their schools team. Being a Londoner myself, I wholeheartedly appreciate the learning opportunities and options that comes with being immersed in a diverse community. And I'm loving the diversity that I'm seeing here tonight. And I'm super excited to celebrate with you the unsung heroes in our community who are inspired by faith, belief, and values, and who have done exceptional work and continue to do exceptional work to make a difference in the lives of Londoners. We will be celebrating them and their projects under 5 different categories. They are community resourcefulness in response to COVID-19, environmental sustainability, health and well-being, inspiring youth, and supporting women. In case you didn't hear me saying that I'm excited, I really am, and I'm here to celebrate with you these very deserving groups and individuals. But before we do that, I cannot move on until I acknowledge that this event could not happen if it wasn't for our generous sponsors. They are Dangor Education, Direct Line Group, Community Union, and the Morgan Charitable Foundation. Without their support, we would not be able to award 38 inspiring projects who each work tirelessly for their communities. Many, many thanks to our sponsors. Let's give them a well-deserved roar and a clap.
So this year we received over 100 nominations, and our judging panel had the pleasure and quite the difficult job of choosing which of these groundbreaking community projects we would be shortlisting for tonight. So everyone recognised as part of tonight's awards does amazing work, and we're delighted to all be together to celebrate you. So as you came in, you should have got a brochure with information on all of the projects that we're recognising here tonight, and I encourage you to look through them and to learn a bit more. You can even look at their websites afterwards. They're all noted down in that brochure. And tonight, as you're learning about the projects, why not see which ones capture your imagination, and then when we network afterwards, let them know how impressed you are with their work and go up and say hi. So alongside the presentation of awards, tonight will feature performances from Right Back's young storytellers and some very special guest speakers from across London's communities.
Are you ready to kickstart the ceremony?
Yes.
Oh, you guys are a dry bunch. Can I hear that again?
Yes.
Much better. It's like talking to pensioners here. Come on, I know we've got some young people here. I'm sure you're lively. All right, so
Could you speak up?
Actually, you're next on stage, so I'm glad you spoke out. To offer a keynote speech, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Sir Kenneth Elisa. Did I say your surname right?
You did.
Oh, brilliant. His Majesty's Lord Lieutenant of Greater London. These awards would not be possible without the support of Lord Lieutenant and his Council on Faith, who have been working with us since the inception of the awards 6 years ago. I know it's been that long. Sir Kenneth Elisa has an important vision for London, and it's brilliant to have him here today to tell us a little bit about it. Over to you.
Well, thank you, ladies. Brilliant introduction. I am, as you've gathered, the Lord Lieutenant of Greater London. That makes me the King's representative. I was, of course, the Queen's representative before that, and some of you may have seen me on television here at the funeral and at some of the other occasions that happened over that complicated time in the history of our nation. I'm also the High Bailiff and Searcher of the Sanctuary of Westminster Abbey, which means you might have also seen me in my ecclesiastical dress receiving important guests by the Great West Door. When I come to a normal event here in the Abbey, the King and Queen sit just where our two leaders tonight sit, on slightly more plush chairs, it has to be said, and I have a seat right at the back nearest to the altar. And I sit every time I come here, I sit in that seat, And sometimes when the members of the royal family are here, I look down here to survey them, and I pinch myself. And I pinch myself because it's quite hard to believe that this man was once a small boy growing up in the back streets of Nottingham, a single-parent family, my father having abandoned us. My mother grew up with my mother, but in poverty. She was a jobbing bookkeeper and typist who managed to keep us together, but she did one very important thing, which she gave me unconditional love and support. And something she instilled in me all those years ago, and depressingly, you young things, it was a very long time ago, but one of the things she instilled in me all that time ago was how lucky I was not to be single-parent family, back streets, etc., but to have her love and to have the opportunities which this great country gave to me. And she instilled in me not just a sense of gratitude for those things, but also a sense of obligation and duty to give back. And I have since a very early age realized that our world is divided into two kinds of people: those who get a thrill out of helping other people and those who don't. And what we're here to celebrate tonight is you, all of you, who patently get an enormous thrill out of helping other people, for which we are all, of course, grateful. But as the King's representative, I can confirm that he, with whom I spoke this morning about this event, is extremely grateful. Now, why should we be grateful? Because you are, as the Dean said in his remarks, the glue, he didn't use that term, but the glue that keeps us together, that binds us together as societies and as communities. And this is such an important aspect as we look around what's happening in the world, where the exact opposite is happening in many countries. Some of you here this evening have come from those countries to live in this country with good reason. This Abbey, as the Dean said, has been here there's been something here for over 1,000 years, celebrating faith and community. But most recently, as you know, it has been the scene of the funeral of Her Majesty the Queen. Cast your mind back, it's not that long ago, to that period of time when Her Majesty sadly passed, and think about how you reacted, not just to the moment of the news, but to the follow-on effects within our country. Think back to the 250,000 people who formed that pilgrimage queue to pay their respects to the Queen lying in state in Westminster Hall. To all those hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people in Scotland and in England who line the roads to pay their respects as the coffin passed by in the hearse. The 28 million people in our country who watched obsessively through the day as the funeral unveiled. The apparently 3+ billion people who watched it around the world. And ask yourself, why? What was it that was so captivating about that whole event? Well, if you remember the moments of the sermon from the Archbishop of Canterbury, which was delivered from the pulpit just there, he essentially said that Her Majesty stood for core human values: duty, service, looking for the good in others, and community. So it's totally fitting that tonight we're here today to celebrate charities who exemplify those fundamental values and principles. Now, you might wonder why you're here tonight and why we've chosen this venue. Well, one of the benefits of being High Bailiff in search of the sanctuary is I have a rather close relationship with the Dean. And one day I said to him, look, I have a challenge. For the last 5 years, we've had an awards ceremony where we've thanked essentially small faith-based charities, although some have no faith, but all focused, as he said, on hope. And we've held it in a variety of venues, and it's gone rather well. But we're beginning to get so big, it's hard to find a venue. And Mr. Dean, I said, I've had an idea. He wasn't very interested at this point. And I said, Mr. Dean, I wonder whether we might be able to borrow the Abbey for an evening. And the Dean of Westminster Abbey looked at me, and he looked up, and he looked at me again, and he said, of course. Now think what that means as a measure of what matters in our society and in our community and in our capital city. He didn't say, I have to check. He didn't say, I'm not sure. He didn't say, I'm going to charge you money. He didn't say, let's think about the health and safety risks. He didn't say, but they won't all be Christians. He didn't say anything. He said, of course. I think what he said to me when I asked that question is what all of you say when you see the weak and the vulnerable and the marginalized and they come to you for help. And what do you say to them? You say, of course. And so tonight is a serious, serious celebration of the values that bind us together as a community. Irrespective of our heritage, our jobs, our faith, our lack of faith, it doesn't matter. You are all good people in the house of doing good. And as the King's representative in this great capital city, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you do, and I'm looking forward to presenting your awards this evening. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Ken. Now we turn to the main event as we recognize the projects and individuals who work tirelessly and sincerely for their local communities. To announce our award winners, please welcome Bushra Desir to the stage, who is the chair of this year's judging panel.
Good evening, everybody. It's an honour and a privilege to be the chair of the judging panel and to be actually presenting this evening in this unique venue. Our panel consisted of 5 members of the Faith Council and 2 members of the Faith and Belief Forum. And I'm going to embarrass them, so I'll warn you now. I would like you to stand up. They were our judges, Dr. Sheila Gilob, Dr. Mustafa Abul Lisan, Babul Sathya, Tariq Abbasi, Phil Champagne, and Carrie Alderton. So thank you so much indeed. Reading through over 100 nominations was humbling and very moving. To see so much good work being done continually throughout a very difficult period in our lives has actually had such an impact on London and across all our communities. We researched some of the nominations on their websites and got even more detail of the great work that was being done. And what we all found over the 6 years that this project has been running is there is such phenomenal work being done. After the first year of our award ceremony, one of the DLs attending a meeting said, "Are you going to do it again? Are there any more people out there?" Well, there are hundreds and thousands of people out there doing great work, and we are just picking up a very small number that we are actually celebrating tonight. So can I thank you, like the Lord Lieutenant has done, from the bottom of my heart for the privilege of reading those nominations and seeing the great work that's being done. The way we did that process, we had 107 nominations, and by the deadline of the 7th of August, we met one day in order to actually go through them, having individually scored with the judges online. We did judge each of the awards on 3 criteria, which was based on sense of belonging, building bridges, and the impact of those awards. And all those people here tonight obviously passed through those quite big bridges that we'd put in the way in order to judge the awards tonight. We picked out 38 projects whom we're awarding tonight, and will be given £500 as a small token of appreciation for the work that they're doing. 56 projects which will be recognised for the great work, and we hope in the future they will be awarded, and 3 individuals who will be recognised this evening for their exceptional work. So thank you very much for giving me the honour of being the judge of the panels. Thank you to my judges who worked alongside me, and we would like now to go on to start the award ceremony proper.
Thank you so much, Bushra. And now to begin handing out the awards for this evening, I'd like to welcome to the stage the director of the Faith and Belief Forum, Phil Champagne, and Sakena Lisa again, if you'd like to join us. And so now we're going to get to know our projects in the first category, community resourcefulness in response to COVID-19. So these projects all rose to the unique challenges that COVID-19 brought and the impact that it still has on our communities. And they've demonstrated strength, resilience, and community spirit. As they come up onto the stage, Bushra will tell us all about their brilliant work, and we want to give them a huge round of applause. And if you could do that as they're being handed the award, that would be fantastic. So over to you, Bushra.
Thank you so much indeed. The first project is the community resourcefulness in response to COVID. The first winner is the London Islamic Cultural Society, the Community COVID Support Group. During COVID, the London Islamic Cultural Society were instrumental in promoting outreach COVID vaccine days when the centre was used to deliver vaccines to many in the community. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The next is Together in Barnet. During pandemic, in partnership with Homeless Action in Barnet, they provided essential care packages twice a week to over 100 clients who had been placed in temporary accommodation across 8 London boroughs. Thank you so much indeed. The Chinese Information and Advice Centre. The Chinese Information Advice Centre teamed up with Westminster City Council and the NHS to run a series of pop-up vaccination clinics. They supported 7,000 people, including those without regular immigration status or fixed addresses. The next is Jewish Care. During the pandemic, when all in-person services had to close, Jewish Care adapted by tripling the supply of Meals on Wheels for older, isolated people at home and expanding the befriending virtual presentations events of their programs. Thank you so much indeed. Next, the Romanian Food Bank, RCCT. RCCT's work helps Romanian immigrants. The food bank started in March 2020 when many people found themselves unemployed and in need of support. Without English as a first language, getting access to help was made even harder. Next is the Sherry Swanmin Ryan Munder Kingsbury. Swami Narayan.
That's better. Say
Thank
Kingsbury.
you.
Just say Kingsbury.
The Mandir was the first in the UK to open a COVID-19 vaccination centre. Between January and May 2021, the centre run by local GP practitioners administered over 40,000 vaccinations in one of the London's most vulnerable boroughs. Thank you so much indeed. The Amazing Grace Parish Community Project. During the pandemic, they opened their doors to all the community and provided food and essential items to hundreds of people each week. The pandemic increased demand by 500%, which they met with the help of 22 volunteers. Thank you so much indeed. The Gurdwara SGS Hounslow. The Gurdwara team worked with the local council to create a network of 100 volunteers who could shop and deliver food and medicines and provide telephone support to residents from any background. Next, the Go Dharmic Welfare UK. During COVID, Go Dharmic distributed over 6 million meals throughout the UK. Within London, they have distributions set up in Queensbury, Wembley and Westminster. What a great project. Next, Hotline Meal Service Hackney. Okay, I will read a little bit about them. This project organised 175 volunteers to prepare, cook, pack and deliver individual meals to the frail and elderly during the pandemic. So well done to this hot meals service. Next is the Jan Vishwa Bharti London project, and it's their COVID project. The JVG London created a team of volunteer doctors to signpost and suggest the best treatment. In addition, the Jain nuns organised several dozen consultations to resolve internal conflicts within families.
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks. What a pleasure and honor. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, sir. Congratulations. Supporting humanity. In 2020, Supporting Humanity mobilised a community of volunteers bringing together local communities and businesses to aid, support and tackle day-to-day issues, assisting with mental health, well-being, loneliness, bereavement and much, much more. Thank you. Gasiva. closer to home.
Good evening.
During the pandemic, they ran a mobile food bank in Ealing. They're currently supporting 33 families with an entirely voluntary team and run a soup kitchen which helps over 200 people each week.
Thank you so much. It's incredibly inspiring. So unfortunately, we don't have the time to hear from every single winner tonight, but we've invited one group from each category just to share a few words about their work and what inspires them. So I have the pleasure now of welcoming back to the stage Supporting Humanity. Thank you.
Right. Hello, everyone. Supporting Humanity was born out of COVID, and actually, in my opinion, it came as a blessing to many as they were going through the most difficult times, yet as a human race we came together and supported them. What started off as a hot food delivery service at hospitals to serving those on the front line, and to those struggling at the peak, the elderly, has now become a charity embedded in the hearts of many across communities in many London boroughs. Supporting Humanity is a 100% volunteer-run charity. All of our services are run and funded through donations and various fundraisers that we run throughout the year. Your community support and volunteers are what have allowed us to provide over 1,500 hot meals a day to the vulnerable across 16 boroughs in London. Furthermore, we've provided over 94,000 meals to the vulnerable, 14 hospitals, ambulance stations, and a further 150 households during COVID. Our volunteers really are an integral part of our charity, and without them, this award would never have become a possibility. They are the people who make Supporting Humanity, the vision, a reality. I'm going to pass over to Ilyas, who's going to say a few words also.
Thank you. Once again, thank you for the award. Never before a believer of cliches, such as there is no I in our team. We are a family, something that the founder has embedded in all of us. Therefore, on that note, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank all our volunteers, and we are a family. Ending on the quote of our founder's mother, who is the vision behind the inception of Supporting Humanity. It's not what the world can do for us, but what can we do for humanity. Thank you very much.
Amazing work. Let's get to know our second category. This category recognizes the fantastic work of one group that works specifically to assist women. Inspired by the Catholic faith, but open to women of all faith backgrounds and none, Caritas Paquita House is a refuge for women, escaping the exploitation of trafficking and modern slavery. They help them to recover their health, develop their self-esteem, and regain dignity. Please give them a big hand as they come to collect their award and offer a few words of acceptance.
Thank you. Brilliant.
So much.
Thank you very much.
He was well deserved. I thought it was baking then. No, we haven't got a typo.
I'm not good at that, I can assure you.
Come on, yeah. Huge marvellous, yeah. Thank you. Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
We are delighted to accept this reward, a reward indeed, reward for our work, also the award for the work from the London Faith and Belief Community Awards. To answer the question, why is Caritas Paquita House important? For us, modern slavery and human trafficking remain compelling and urgent issues affecting women who find themselves in highly vulnerable situations. The creative and therapeutic approach of Caritas Bakita House is important in enabling women to move on into independent, confident lives on their own terms beyond slavery and embrace the freedom of being empowered. As one of our former guests typifies in this quote about her experience of Bakita House, she says, "Being surrounded by people who are positive gives you the power to think positively, face challenges, and encourages you to move forward." And I think we could say that for everyone in the room tonight. So thank you very much for this award.
Thank you so much for that, and I love that about the power of positivity, and really think that we can feel that in this space tonight. So now we're moving on to our third group of award winners. These projects are recognised for their work in environmental sustainability, and I'd like to invite Raj to the stage, who is representing our sponsor, the Direct Line Group, and will introduce us to the winners.
So good evening, everyone. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. I'm Raj. I lead diversity and inclusion at Direct Line Group. We're one of Britain's leading insurers with brands such as Direct Line, Churchill, Privilege and Green Flag. And we care really deeply about being a force for good and supporting inclusion. We're signatories to the Charter of Faith and Belief Inclusion, and we have a fabulous belief employee network led by Tracy and Lorna, who I believe are somewhere over there waving. And we do a lot of work to champion how we build better understanding between people of different faiths. And that's why we're absolutely delighted to support the London Faith and Belief Community Awards and celebrate the fantastic achievements of everyone in this room, because you're the people who are making a real difference to faith inclusion across London. So I have the absolute pleasure of announcing projects recognised in the environmental sustainability category, which is something very close to our hearts. Inspired by the Queen's Green Canopy initiative, this category celebrates projects that address one of the most urgent challenges facing humanity. So the projects that have been recognised are the Young Christian Climate Network, So in 2021, the network launched a campaign calling on UK government and other world leaders to rise to the moment at COP26. They walked in pilgrimage as an act of faith, hope and love, calling for justice and for fair climate finance. Second project to be recognised is Keeping It Wild. So Keeping It Wild help engage young people from traditionally underrepresented groups to take part in nature conservation projects in their local communities with paid traineeships and a youth forum. And the third project to be recognised is Vine Goes Green, Vine URC Church in Ilford. So Vine Goes Green came from the church's desire to become more sustainable. They've run sustainability-focused summer clubs, led a climate-focused interfaith walk and planted 50 trees on site.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Raj. And sorry, just before you go back to your seats, I invite you to give us a couple of words about Vine Goes Green. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for giving us the Sustainability Award. It's important to us. It helps us to communicate with other people what we're trying to do. And because what we're trying to do is a long journey, it's really good to get the encouragement for the long haul. As a church, we're proud to be Londoners. We're from Ilford in multi-faith East London. And our project is called Vine Goes Green. It began out of our United Reformed Church's desire to become more sustainable and to get to net zero. It's based on our belief in the goodness of creation and that we have a responsibility as people of faith to respond creatively to the climate crisis. I'm just going to mention a few of the steps that we've taken since 2015. In 2016, we formed a small eco-action group within the church, and it's really good to be part of a group, not just doing things on our own. Then in 2017 we ran an eco-action day where we invited people from outside, and we did things in the church like we lagged pipes, we installed reflector panels behind the radiators, we put draft excluders, and we did a bit of loft insulation. In 2018, we moved to a green energy supplier, and in 2019, we worked with the Redbridge Interfaith Forum to do a network event in our church, where 100 people talked about ways to be doing sustainability in our borough. In 2020, we installed LED lights in much of the buildings, and then in 2021, in the run-up to the COP talks in Glasgow, we worked with the Redbridge Faith Forum to do its annual interfaith walk on the climate crisis. And also that same year, 21, we got an energy audit done of our buildings, and this year we started to do fundraising for the building to do insulation of the walls and roofs, to do smart heating controls, and we want to install solar panels. And next year we're hoping to do work to make our gardens, we have 3 little gardens, to make them more beautiful and wildlife friendly. So these are small steps we're taking. It's quite a small struggling group. So we're trying to work alongside other people to make a difference in the community. So thank you all. I just wanted to say one thing as I stand in this wonderful building looking at the ceilings and the walls, that my hope and prayer is that we'll get our walls in our church halls insulated and our roof before the Westminster Abbey does.
Before we go on giving out more awards, we are going to take a short entertainment break. I'm delighted to welcome to the stage 3 young writers from the Write Back programme. They'll be reading extracts from their writing on the theme of diversity and their inspiration as young authors. Write Back are an award winner, and we'll be learning more about them in a few minutes. Please join me in welcoming Harmony, Blessings, and Hazel to the stage.
First of all, thank you so much for this award. It's quite incomprehensible when you're just trying to go on in your daily lives. So thank you. My name is Blessings, and I will be reading to you Science is Diverse. I want you to imagine an autumn tree, allowing its autumn leaves to fall for fresh green leaves to blossom. As human beings, our tendency to work together grants us to achieve greater things. We have physical and mental limitations and personal beliefs on possible actions to achieve our goals. The world is a vast place containing multiple cultures, beliefs, and ideas being established. One thing that rules over us all is being biased against one another. Though we may not try to be, we do it unconsciously due to the way we were brought up and our current beliefs. This cannot be ignored, especially by scientists who must be extremely accurate with their research. For example, when investigating type 2 diabetes, different cultures and settings have to be considered to reduce this bias. Analysis from data for global studies written by Krish Singh found out that type 2 diabetes is up to 3 times more likely in African and African Caribbean descent, and is up to 6 times more likely in people of South Asian descent. In order to conduct a fair and accurate research, they need to consider the ethnicity, the environment, and many other factors of where the individual has come from. Scientists need to take advantage of this 21st century technological advancement and interact globally. They can brainstorm with their combined knowledge and develop each other's understanding of difficult concepts. Interacting with different individuals evokes many approaches to the difficult paths ahead. Future generations should push towards a more diverse and understanding society. Science itself is much more diverse than we can ever imagine. So why should we be here less diverse among those discovering it? Ignorance can no longer prevail. Representation is crucial for development. So let's turn another page in history. There is still so much we can discover. Thank you.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. I'm Harmony, and this is my poem called Words Can Change the World. Poetry, a political voice to save and rationalize at the brink of catastrophic endings. It's meant to disturb the lungs with its experimental blend, its letters that seemingly work together, creating a symphonic harmony. The poetic innovator sits and comprehends in the aftermath of war and division, thinking of their best medium of transmission, still deciphering after windfall, alone without the haven of companionship, contemplating whether to stick to what they truly believe in, justice and the freedom of expression, or whether they should remain quiet, become that silent spectator who watches the injustice before them, becoming the tainted perpetrators, riddled with blindness. After some thought, they decide that they should use their voice, their poetic innovation, their words fueled with power to change the world. Would you rather be the tainted perpetrators, who are blind and unjust, or be the poetic voice that uses their written word to change the world? Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Assalamu alaikum, Sat Shri Akal, Namaste, and Hola. My name is Hazel, and today I'm going to represent a poem that is written by, of course, me. Thank you. It's called I Can't Be You. I can't be you. You can't be me. We are different, but share the same world. We are different, but share the same love. We are different, but exactly alike each other. I like blue, you like pink. I hate maths, and I'm sure you hate it as well. But we do have something in common, but we are different. I don't speak like you. You don't speak like me. You don't understand me. I can't understand you. But what we all understand is the language of love. Even though you, me, can't speak in the same languages, but we still hold hands, laugh together, dance together, learn together, grapple together. Although we are different, we do all the things together, as you can't be me and I can't be you. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much for that. And I'm now really regretting that I can't be you. I'm envious. That was so empowering. And just, I loved your reflections on the power of words and that real cry and call to urgency to end injustice through words. Thank you so much for that. It was a really incredible performance, and I think a perfect showcase for this next category that we have coming up, which is about inspiring the next generation of Londoners. So I'd like to invite Bushra back to the stage to announce our next category.
Thank you so much indeed. Thank you. And it's particularly nice for me to be reading out the winners of this Inspiring Youth category, because my background is teaching. I've been involved for over 40 years in education, and seeing these young people just gives me so much hope, like you, for our future. This category is recognising inspiring youth. Projects in this category work with young people to encourage leadership and participation in their local community and connect them with opportunities beyond their neighbourhoods. The winning projects individuals are, we'll start with right back. Right Back believes every young person has a story to tell and the capacity to tell it. Its mission is to build the confidence and capacity of young people to express themselves creatively through the sharing of their stories. Very well done.
Which hand is left? Suddenly it's impossible to remember. Can I just say, I remember the first time I did a Bible reading from just up there. And I remember how my knees felt. Well done. Well done. Brilliant.
Well done. The next group is Steps to Success Academy. Steps to Success Academy has been operational since 2016, serving the needs of Romanian community. This year, they've been working at full capacity on 2 projects that have helped women and children, supporting 400 families overall. The next is Project Impact. Project Impact inspires and empowers teens to volunteer and make an impact in the community and beyond. Teens interact and learn social responsibility while supporting numerous charities shaping next generations of active leaders. The next group is Zanania Foundation. The Zanania Foundation helps young people to break the language and social deprivation barriers, foster a sense of inclusion, and develop self-confidence to becoming responsible adults in a diverse society. Many congratulations. The next is Neasden Temple, the Island of Heroes project. The Island of Heroes was a children's adventureland that was created for the Festival of Inspiration at Neasden Temple in July 2022. It provided a fun, immersive experience for children and families to learn. Growing Hope in Brockley. Growing Hope Brockley is a charity that provides free therapy for children and young people with additional needs in Lewisham and Southwark. This service is run in partnership with St Peter's Brockley, where the clinic is based. The next is Coming Out of Hiding, the Lighthouse Network CC project. They are a community of leaders who have decided to be the change they want to see. They're on a mission to encourage, equip, empower, and elevate 16 to 30-year-olds to be world changers. Next is the James Ross Hunter Youth Support CIC project. Founded in July 2014 after the death of James Ross Hunter, who died saving another from a violent gang attack in his community. His bravery has inspired the organisation to develop projects that bring awareness to public health and safety and mindfulness. Thank you so much. The next is Ishan Shah, Stolen Dreams. Ishan Shah is a 19-year-old co-founder of Stolen Dreams, a youth-led collective working at all levels with governments, civil society and youth to combat modern slavery and human trafficking. Thank you. Thank you so much indeed.
Gosh, thank you very much for this award. It's an honour. I'm very humbled to receive this. Modern slavery and human trafficking are very much existing in London, in the clothes we wear, the foods we eat, and potentially even on our high streets. The latest estimates of modern slavery suggest that globally over 50 million people are in situations of exploitation and human trafficking. This is very much an issue that we are experiencing and directly impacts us every day. And it's really important that young people are placed at the centre because we are disproportionately impacted, especially young women and girls. But the journey that Stolen Dreams has been on has also allowed me to realise that actually young people play a huge role in social impact. And we need to look beyond seeing just young people as beneficiaries, but as co-leaders, co-creators, and co-owners of change. When you centre young people, you catalyse action. When you centre young people, you reach the people who need your support most. But it's got to look beyond just seeing young people as sort of participators. We have to shift the power. So I encourage all of you here today who are in positions of power to not only share space with young people, but share power too and realise their value as experts in their own lived realities. Thank you very much.
Wow, how inspired are we feeling right now?
Very.
Yay! We've seen such an amazing range of work happening across London, and sadly nearing to the end of the awards presentation. Let's get to know our fifth category of award winners. And be sure to give them lots of applause. I invite our sponsor, Sidra Nisa and Adrian Extel from Community Union to make the final presentation.
Hello, yes, my name is Adrian Axel. I am the National Officer for the Charitable Sector of Community Union. We are a leading modern trade union and we are here to help workers. We have spent decades supporting, advising and bringing members together from across the UK, and it's our job to protect and support people so they can focus on things that matter the most. We're striving for a better world of work for everyone, and this is why we're delighted to support the London Faith and Belief Community Awards to celebrate the fantastic achievements of individuals and organisations who are making a positive change. We are creating a union that is rooted in communities across the UK. One of our major campaigns, In Your Community, is about bringing people together to identify and find solutions to important local issues. We envisage a future where you as individuals and organisations shape and organise communities to make positive change. To achieve this, we want you to get involved with us and join hundreds of people who want to make a real lasting change in their communities. Please visit our stall and find out more to get involved, and I'll hand you over to my colleague, Sidra Nisa.
Thank you, Adrian. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sidra Nisa, and I'm the Head of Learning for Community. I'm actually very honoured and truly delighted to be announcing the projects recognised in the health and well-being category. Projects in this category create specialised services for the health and well-being of Londoners. They reduce social isolation and improve quality of life by supporting vulnerable people from different backgrounds. I'm delighted to announce the projects. The first project is Club Soda. Club Soda is a charity based in Croydon that provides opportunities for people with learning disabilities to access and enjoy music and the arts. The next organisation is Companions Cafe and Donation Hub. London Companions run 3 evening cafes and 2 breakfast clubs, weekly providing a safe space for the homeless to receive nutritious food and chat with volunteers. The next organisation is Croydon Night Watch Croydon. Night Watch is a charity entirely staffed by volunteers who run a meeting point every night of the year where they give food and other basic help to the homeless and otherwise vulnerable population of Croydon.
Yes, that's right. Yes. Yeah. You're winning everything, aren't you, this year? Congratulations. Brilliant.
The next organisation is Cunley Odeji, the Empowerment Group. Cunley Odeji founded the Empowerment Group, TEG, at the height of the pandemic and at a crucial time of need to address the mental health challenges the Black community were facing during the pandemic. Central Mosque of Brent Community Health Project. The Central Mosque of Brent runs a community-wide health program which is working to improve health access, delivery of vaccinations, community diabetic days, monthly seminars with Asthma and Lung UK. The next organisation is Powering Asian Social and Welfare Association. This is an Asian community-led charity which provides a wide range of activities to ensure that disadvantaged, isolated and marginalised Asian and wider communities receive support and information. World Shirdi Sai Baba Organisation UK Food Saver Project. The WSSBO have been distributing hot food for the past 10 years. They aim to provide food to the community, especially homeless and unemployed people. They serve roughly 2,500 food packets weekly.
Wow.
Peckham Pantry Pecan. The aim of the Peckham Pantry is to offer residents an opportunity to reduce their shopping bills by supplementing their regular shops with items from the pantry. Members of the Peckham Pantry offer £4.50p per shop, which gives access to fresh fruit and veg and store cupboard favourites. The Redeemed Assemblies Trust. They run a food bank that is open 7 days a week to everyone in the community, supported by about 50 volunteers, and an average of about 125 families attend the food bank. Mandahata Youth and Community Association, the Day Centre. Founded in 1972, they run a day centre for the elderly which tackles loneliness and social isolation. The programme includes reading, singing, discussions and socialising with people who share common heritage. Jeevan Organ and Blood Donation. Okay, they're not here, but we'll go on to give a few words about the organisation. Yes, sir. Jeevan was founded to give education, awareness and understanding of blood and organ donation to avoid unnecessary loss of life in the BAME communities. I will go on to the last but not the least, final organisation, Brent Multi-Faith Forum. The Brent Multi-Faith Forum has fostered deeper and more active relationships between faith leaders and health services to improve the resilience of Brent's communities in the face of mental health struggles.
I see they've walked away, but I'm going to ask you to return back to the stage. Sorry for the extra walk. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. I'd just like to say a really warm-hearted thank you for this award. We are deeply honoured and grateful to receive this. The Faith and Mental Health Project has been hugely impactful and meaningful. We've brought together local faith groups with mental health services to learn, to share, and embed practices that are relevant to the demography of our diverse local community in Brent. The project was born out of witnessing the unrelenting service that churches, mosques, gurdwaras and temples and meditation centres delivered at the height of the pandemic. They were a lifeline to the lives of many, and particularly for the declining mental health of congregants. One of the most beautiful aspects of this work is that we get to collaborate with people of all faiths and none. Our diverse faiths are always the driving force of what we do, and unapologetically so. It's our respective faiths and beliefs that is the motivation for improving the lives of those around us, whether we adhere to the same religious values or to any faith at all. There is always common ground. There is always something that unites us and allows us to deepen our understanding, connection, respect, and friendship. We are a people that care deeply about the well-being of each other. God is all merciful and all compassionate, and that's the spirit we aspire to embody in the work that we do. That's a narrative that we don't often get to hear in mainstream society, and it often gets switched around. It's true that we don't do what we do for the recognition, but there's no denying that today is a humbling experience. To stand here in the heart of London, in one of the most historic and iconic places of worship in the world, as a British Muslim woman, receiving an award on behalf of the diverse faith groups that we work with in Brent is an honour. Thank you.
Whose hands are hurting from all that clapping? Well, I can see your faces are not in agony, so I'm going to make you clap some more. Let's give a round of applause to all the outstanding projects we've heard about today.
But before we close this part of the ceremony, we want to recognise another really incredible group of Londoners. Tonight, we also want to recognise 56 inspiring projects working to make London a place where every community is supported. We don't have time to mention everyone, but as we said previously, we really hope you win an award in one of our next awards ceremonies. So please look in your brochure for more details on what they do, and you can always approach them after for a chat. And from food banks to shelters, the projects being recognised here tonight make outstanding contributions to their communities. And as we were just hearing, often they're motivated by empathy or by faith rather than by the public recognition. But tonight, we really want to recognise them publicly. That's why we're all here. So I'd like for you all to stand, our recognised projects. If you could stand for us. And we want to give you all a huge round of applause. Thank you for everything you do.
As we draw to a close, I would like to invite Phil Champagne, the Director of Faith and Belief Forum, to say a final few words.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, add to what others have said, but thank you so much all for coming to this wonderful space to celebrate these fantastic projects and that we've had the privilege to hear about. It's been a tough year, and next year is going to be probably a tough year as well. And for many people, I'm sure you're very aware every year is a tough year. And that's why the projects that we've awarded and recognised this year and over the last 5 years, and hopefully in the years to come, are so important. I was struck particularly by the number of projects that related to food poverty this year. There were 14,000 users of food banks 10 years ago in London. This year it's 283,000. When you think about a city whose population has grown by about 20%, those using food banks has increased by about 2,000. So it's important that we recognise the fantastic work that all of you continue to do. And it's also important, as somebody said already, that we encourage interconnectedness, because the scale of the issues and the seriousness of the issues that you're all tackling can be better addressed if we work together. And so please do network, because we are the Faith and Belief Forum. We're about interfaith. We're about the coming together of different faiths and beliefs. So please take the chance today to meet somebody that maybe you haven't met before from a different faith and belief background or a different background, and see how you can continue to build on each other's work and support what you're doing. So that's for the networking in a minute. But before we get there, I just want to make one other point, which is that initiatives like this, they don't happen just like that. And they need leadership. And there are some important leaders really behind the initiatives like this. But there's one in particular that I want to introduce just to make some closing remarks, and that's David Dangor, CBE-DL. David is a philanthropist and a businessman. He grew up in Baghdad, and in fact has been behind making a successful documentary about the Jewish community in Baghdad, which is now available on Netflix, actually. But David, as I say, is a really inspirational force behind this initiative. He's a sponsor governor of Westminster Academy. He's involved in supporting the arts, education, culture. But as I say, without people like David, who is also a headline sponsor for this event, things like this don't happen. So I want to thank you, David, for all you've done to support this initiative, and hopefully in the years to come. And I'd like to invite you just to give some closing remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Phil. And one of the advantages of speaking last is you can gradually tick off all the things you were going to say, because they've been ably said already. But I do like compliments, although I do remember what Rabbi Sachs, Lord Sachs, used to say: compliments are nice, just don't inhale. But I really would like to address my first thanks to the Lord Lieutenant, because the reason we're here today is because of the inspiration he has given us all at the Greater London Lieutenancy, where his aim was to build bridges for a fairer London. and while the role is to convene, honour, advocate and encourage faith communities in London, we did not realise when we first spoke about it 6 years ago just how deep and how wonderful is the group of people. And what I'm very pleased to be able to say is that you are just the tip of the iceberg. You represent so many people who do similar work, who really, during the pandemic, showed how important it is that we reach out to each other and help each other. So thank you, Lord Lieutenant. Thank you for getting us into this wonderful place. And we are continuing on the mission you have set us. And by we, I mean, of course, the Faith Council that you asked me to chair, many of whom are here. It's a wonderful, constructive, and stable team of people. And for this particular element of our work, we've had the leadership of Bushra Nasser, who has spoken, and she's mentioned many of the names of people who've spent hours
sifting through the number of nominees, and I thank them. I want to also thank the Faith and Belief Forum, ably led by the Chief Executive for many years, Phil Champagne, and of course our two hosts, Carrie and Ruma, doing it in such a polished way. But without the Faith and Belief Forum, our delivery partner, it would be impossible to do and reach such a wide amount of work. So I want to publicly thank you for doing that. We are celebrating, as has been mentioned, over 100 projects run by faith groups and non-religious groups who work on all the different areas that you've heard. And I'd like to say that you're probably needed even more today, when we're ready, unfortunately, to face hard times, economic difficulties, and of course the continuing aftermath of the pandemic. While we hopefully have finished with COVID, COVID hasn't finished with us. I daily meet people who are suffering from long COVID. All of us hear about people who are now having to deal with cancer that should have been dealt with 2 or 3 years ago. And so the work that you do becomes essential in, as they said, the glue that keeps this country together. And it's wonderful to know that Her Majesty, the late Majesty Queen Elizabeth, felt very moved by all this work, to the extent that in June 2019, she invited some of the awards of that year to a reception at Buckingham Palace. We always used to hear from the Lord Lieutenant of the immense support that she wanted to give to encourage the work that was being done. So thank you for what you are doing in this wonderfully diverse city of ours to help us all feel like brothers and sisters. Finally, I would like to mention the Interfaith Fund Run, which in August occurred for the second year running. We will keep you all posted about the third one next year, constantly trying to build on it. And the main aspect that we're trying to do there is to involve youth, because as we all say all the time, the youth are our future, and we want that message to come to them. And I will finish by echoing Phil's comments about the networking. So many of previous attendees have got together with other groups, sometimes a different faith, sometimes dealing with other matters, and found common ground. Sometimes they now work together, and that's been a great result of the networking. So we invite you now to enjoy the reception under the direction of the Faith and Belief Forum. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, David, and thank you to the Deputy Lieutenants who sit on the Council of Faith and the other Deputy Lieutenants who are supporting tonight's event. Can you please raise your hands so we can recognise you? Thank you. Special thanks as well tonight to the Steering Committee of the Council on Faith who developed and coordinated this event and the judging panel. And thank you again for the generous contributions of Dangor Education, Direct Line Group, the Community Union, the Morgan Charitable Foundation, our sponsors for tonight's event.
Also, thank you to the Very Reverend Dr. David Hoyle, the Dean of Westminster, and Lorraine Rosdell and their team for enabling this event to take place in this world-renowned venue. Thank you also to the staff from Faith and Belief Forum who, without their efforts and input, this night would have not been possible. And a special thank you to our Jessica, Matthew, and Siobhan for all the work they put in. finally, thank you to everyone who nominated projects for the awards. Without you taking action, this event would not have been possible.
So I know we're all super excited for networking canapes, but just a couple more things before we go. So in the nave, we're going to have our canapes now and some non-alcoholic drinks and networking. And please be aware that all of the food is halal, vegetarian or vegan. And if you requested kosher or strict vegetarian food, please inform a member of the catering staff and they'll show you where your food is. There's also a prayer room for anybody who needs it, which is in St. Faith's Chapel, which I believe is in this direction, and we can help you find it if you need to. So as we've said a couple of times, one of our aims for tonight is to connect people who are doing great work. And tonight is a great example of that. And I think actually in a world that so often tries to divide us, connecting and collaborating is kind of a revolutionary act. So I'd like to really welcome you all to do that tonight and to join us in the Faith and Belief Forum in networking and building those connections. All of the award winners are wearing badges, so please do chat to them and say thank you for the work they do. I think some aren't, so if you recognise their faces, then just approach them as well. And please do also approach our deputy lieutenants who'd be more than happy to talk to you and share with you their incredible experience with community work. So from us, a huge thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for making this world a richer place.
Let's continue to connect and make magic. And now you can clap.
And recognised projects will have a certificate here at the end for you. Thank you, everyone.
Take care.
Enjoy networking.
See you out there.
Days.